So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. All this time I was finding myself, and I didn't know I was lost. I didn't know I was lost. I didn't know I was lost. I didn't know I was lost.
I'm guessing he should have thrown out some breadcrumbs. This is Dan, RadioStyle. Hope everyone out there is doing really well. That would be ideal anyways in this perfect world. We're calling this one Sense of Direction. This one, I'm going to try to do it quick, at least as quick as I can. So I'm going to try to power through some of this because I'm afraid it's going to go longer than I intend it to go. But I'm trying to deal with the power of feelings. I'm starting to understand things a lot better, and I think some of my prior shows, though kind of on the money, are I want to enhance it a step. So that's kind of where I'm trying to go right now. So again, Dan RadioStyle, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that always. And if you want to contact me, it's spiritradiodanstyle@gmail.com. Thank you very much. That's right. Okay, so what I have kind of gone through, oh yes, Avicii is the song and Wake Me Up is the tune. Thank you very much. And okay, there we go. Now, all the business is covered. So I kind of wanted to walk through my slope, my progression, I guess, if you will, through this spiritual world that I've come to as far as realizing how we manifest, how things kind of work, if that makes any sense. Maybe it'll make more sense as I start to go through these. But kind of the very first step I made when I was younger was we're all together, we're all one, we're all kind of united. So I kind of started to realize that what we do for others kind of matters, right? You do a good deed for somebody else, and that karmic thing kind of comes back on you. Sometimes they say tenfold, whatever the case is, doing good deeds, and you start to do that as a normal pattern, and you start to notice kind of good stuff starts happening back at you. And one thing I want to preface, too, is the beauty of all this stuff is you can't prove this to anyone. There's no way I could prove this to you. The only way anyone can ever prove anything like this is to prove it to themselves. That's it. So as I started making these steps, I started realizing, oh my God, this stuff seems to work, coincidentally or not. The more I do X, the more Y happens. So there you go. So again, I started to realize we're all connected, started to try to do good things to other people, and started to see some things happen in that regard. So again, kind of what you send out is what comes back on you. So if you're sending out negative vibes, negative energy, always griping and jerking and being a bad person, or, I'm always cutting people off because I always get cut off, that kind of thing. It's that vicious cycle, and I've heard that, that's a great example. I've heard that so many times. I do it because everyone else does it. Well, that's exactly my point. That what you send out is what's coming back to you, and we're actually the initiator. So if something keeps happening to you, it's actually because we are doing it first, and then the universe is reciprocating it back. So the way to make that stop is to stop doing what you're sick of experiencing. Words, I then realized, have power. So I was like, I guess it matters what I think, what I say, and what I do. And that's really when that whole paradigm of my life began. And it's true, the power of manifestation is without a doubt through your words, through thoughts, through words, through deeds, all those kinds of things. That's that power in action. Then I started to understand the concept of the energy. Again, as I did in a recent show, the energy is like the power of the hose, right? And so this is where I've got a slight misunderstanding, I think, and this is what I've recently figured out. Again, I've been watching these listening to these law of attraction videos over and over and over, and it's mind-blowing to me, one. And two, you get a lot of different examples of people that are going through similar issues that I've had in my life, or issues I know friends are having, or whatever the case is, and you kind of get a feel for what people are thinking, what they're trying to wrestle with, and the answers that come back are really, really awesome. So again, the feelings are key, but I kind of thought it was more of you have the feelings first, then you think the thoughts, and that is actually where I was incorrect. The energy actually comes from the thoughts. So the way that Esther and Jerry Hicks, or Abraham Hicks, they like to call him, the way that it works in that regard is the thoughts, there's upstream and downstream. Let's go that direction first. So we have upstream and downstream thoughts. Downstream thoughts are kind of like going with the flow. Let go of the oars. Just let go and let life kind of take you there. It's harder. It's easier said than done for the most part, and that's kind of I don't know if that's downstream or not, whatever. But upstream thoughts are kind of when you fight it, when you sort of saying, I can't do this, or I can do this, but X always happens, or whatever. Those are kind of the upstream thoughts. And what we need to pay attention to, and this is where the feelings come into play, is what does it feel like when you think the thoughts? So when you're thinking downstream thoughts, these thoughts will make you feel better. You feel lighter. You feel less angry. You feel love. You feel passion. You feel joy. You feel like it goes into the more positive thoughts when you're going downstream with your thinking. And that is how you know you're on your way to manifesting quicker and what you would like. And so the downstream thoughts are super important, and then paying attention to how you feel while you're thinking thoughts or while you're talking about things is really key. So that's where that little caveat was, where I think I really learned. And I think it's really, really important to point out too that God or source or whatever you would like to call this higher power wants us to be happy, and really gave us this wonderful playground to experience life in all its myriad of ways and fun. And it's we have total control over what we experience. It might be told to us differently in different sources, but really that's what I'm here to help. It's what Law of Attraction's about. It's a lot of the spiritual gurus that are out there right now are trying to remind people that we actually control our own experiences. You almost live in your own little mini world. And a lot of people, is your world different than someone else's? Yeah, it actually is. If I don't focus on something, if I pay zero attention to something that maybe happens to you every single day, it's not in my world. It's not real to me. It's not. If I don't experience it, it's not happening to me. It's not part of my reality. Whether my world's different or not, I mean, they say in some degrees it might have a lot to do with multidimensionality, multidimensional universe, all these kinds of things, parallel paths. Like every time you make a decision, you got this other self that kind of just goes running off doing the other decision. There's a lot of fun, crazy thoughts that you can really just spend hours debating on, thinking about, and all these things. But whatever the case is, what I experience is my reality, period. There's no way around that. And so if we can somewhat control that through some of these lessons that we've been taught, it's amazing the kinds of lives that we can start to own, to create, to co-create, as we like to say. Also, I already covered that. And so the really important thing is forward thinking. This is kind of how we manifest. Staying in the moment and thinking about what you have right now can be good. It can get you in a positive frame of mind. Say you've got something really wonderful happening right now, maybe your child or maybe some relationship you're in right now, or maybe you love your job, or you just got off an awesome phone call and just made a bunch of money and it just feels awesome. That's cool. That's a very downstream thought and it's very awesome. But the manifestation comes from forward thinking out. So in the case of manifesting money, you're thinking about that next big sale. Maybe that's a week down the road. Maybe that's 2 weeks down the road, whatever. If you're not in a relationship and would like to be, you're looking down the road towards that situation. Maybe looking to the day you get married one day to your soulmate. Whatever vision kind of keeps you going and lets the universe know, hey, this is where he'd like to go, and I'm focusing my downstream thoughts in that way. If you're looking for a new job, same kind of concept. Imagining yourself doing new things. Kind of trying to phrase your thoughts not in the, I don't like my job, I don't like where I'm at right now, but more, it's time for a change. I'm definitely heading in a new direction right now. Obviously, there's things that are happening in my life that are helping me see this, and I realize that I am heading towards this new job. Universe, I look forward to you showing me what this is. So again, these are the downstream thoughts. As we look out and forward, that is how we're manifesting. That is how we're creating. So we're paying attention to that feelings, those sense of directions. And really the important thing is to remember you're going to sometimes make mistakes. It's totally cool. It's fun to catch yourself afterwards. You have that upstream thought, then kind of try to follow it up with a downstream thought. Realize that upstream thought didn't feel real good, so then you try to change it to something that's a little more of a downstream thought, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, that actually feels a lot better. So it's a practice thing. Practice, practice, practice. Don't give up. Keep trying it, because as you do this more and more, you will begin to see your hints. You will begin to see your results. You will begin to see a lot of things happen, and your life will start to take shape in a way that you are actually controlling. And that's the sweet part about this whole process, is you actually control it. And again, you'll start to see these things happen in your life. And that's when you get the goosebumps and your crazy things start happening. And you're like, oh my God, this is really cool. This is really happening. And those are those moments where you, as a person, now have your proof. People can say whatever they want. They can call it coincidence, and maybe you entertain that for a half a second, but you keep kind of doing it for a while, and you start to notice, no, this is this always happens when I do this. And some people just they're not ready to hear it. They're not ready to do it. Don't worry about them. That's not what this is about. It's about you. It's about me. It's about our own lives and our own co-creating. So keep following your path. Keep following your feelings. They're actually leading you in the direction you would like to go. Dan RadioStyle. That's what we're trying to do for you here. We're going to be going out with a Styx song called Show Me the Way. Hope you like.
Show me the way.